Welcome, guys, to our Google Hangout with Deb Legge. I am so excited to introduce you to her. She's an amazing therapist and coach who helps other therapists, and I love her work. And today we're going to be talking about relationship marketing. So welcome, Deb. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here, Kelly.
Tell everyone kind of what you're up to. How do you help people in your coaching practice currently?
Okay. Well, I've been in private practice myself for 20 years, so I've kind of walked this road before. It's not my first rodeo. And so in the process, I have helped other people go into private practice, and that really has turned into a real love for me over the years. I just love to help other people start their own businesses. So I started a company called Influential Therapist, I think it was 2010, where I do it officially. And I help people who are either starting out in private practice or people who have already been in private practice and they just want to expand it or kickstart it or do something different. I'll help them to broaden their practices.
Cool. And do you love the work?
Oh my gosh. It's my heart. You can see it just comes through. I love seeing clients, don't get me wrong. I still see clients. I still see 25 or so clients a week. Mm-hmm. But I really, really love the coaching.
Cool. Mm-hmm. So we decided to talk about relationship marketing because that's one of your things that you love to work with people on. So why don't you share what relationship marketing is? Let's define it first.
The focus of relationship marketing is really about establishing these relationships with either potential clients or potential referrers and nurturing those relationships over time so that you can not only do business with people now, but that you can retain them and do business with them throughout the life of your career as long as you have something that is valuable to them. So it's really about what we do as therapists every day. It's really about creating relationships and nurturing them and helping people. If you help enough people to get what they want, you'll get everything you want. You know, Zig Ziglar said that years ago. Mm-hmm. And so that's what relationship marketing really is about. Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's an important point about it's about helping people. We forget that aspect, and I think sometimes people get caught up in I need something, but in order to receive, we have to give first, always.
Absolutely, and I think even before we can give, we have to know what the other person needs, and that's a kind of that's a delicate balance because I can give you what I think would be great for you and what I think you need. But unless you really need that from me, it's not going to be the right thing.
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. What are some of the ways that you see people, or, just give some tips on how to do effective relationship marketing?
Sure. Traditional marketing is really about putting your product or your service out there and touting all the features that you have to offer and then asking people to buy it.
Yeah.
It's kind of an old-fashioned way to do things, and it's still used very effectively when you're selling widgets. I want you to buy my big blue widget. It's the biggest and the bluest widget ever, and there you go. Why don't you buy this from me? But when it comes to services, when it comes to serving other people, it's much more appropriate that we take a relationship focus. Because if I'm really meant to serve certain people, I have an obligation to let people know that I'm a good resource to them, right? So I think in order to make that happen and to establish the relationships, what I teach is a system that is really based on relationships, and it's really based on service people who offer services, and I've kind of tweaked it for therapists. And it's really kind of cool. So I trained under Michael Port in the Book Yourself Solid system, and got licensed, and I still mentor with Michael. And so I teach people how to build a solid foundation so that then when they reach out to people in the community for referrals, they've already laid all the groundwork so that those relationships can be built quickly and so that people can start referring to you.
Right. So this is what I find interesting too about you and me that I realize is that you and I have both gotten training in sales and marketing way outside of the therapist realm, right? And then we take that and apply it to therapists.
Yeah.
Which, because we do have some unique issues. What do you think are some of the points that make it that you had to switch for therapists? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does it apply differently to us?
I think one of the biggest differences that we have is that as a profession, generally we are uncomfortable with sales and marketing. And we think that it is not professional or that it's not ethical, or we have a problem with that balance.
Yeah.
So I think that's one piece. I think another piece is that for some reason we think that making money and helping people can't happen together.
Yeah.
Which is silly, as you know.
Yes.
And those hold us back. They really hold us back. So I think kind of making that paradigm shift is huge. And once that's made, then we don't have to feel guilty about going out and telling people about who we are, because we're not doing it in order to go out and sell widgets. We're doing it to go out there and let people know that we exist as a really viable referral source that we can help them help other people.
Oh, yeah. I think that I think a lot of like the stuff around helping and money, I wonder if it comes from, and I've thought this a lot before, that because we were all kind of brought up in that nonprofit kind of world in school, and it was kind of drilled into us, but you can't bring a nonprofit mindset to a for-profit business. They're different types of businesses, so it does start there. It starts in seeing that what you do is viable and worth, what you're asking for. Yeah.
I think that's a challenge too, don't you? Even in our private practice, in setting fees,
Yes.
I don't know about you, but I've certainly had my share of experience with underselling myself.
Sure. I mean, Miranda and I first started way underselling, and ironically couldn't sell very well that way, actually. Right. And that we tell people, if you're going to sell a $1,000 package or a $500 package, it still takes the same amount of effort. It still takes the same amount of planning and implementation and skill set and training.
Yeah.
So what are some of the ways that you love to teach therapists to market themselves from a relational perspective? Are there certain kinds of tasks that you like to have them do, or anything like that?
Yes, we start with the foundation, which is first to choose a target market. I really encourage people to choose a target market, or to, in our business, sometimes it's hard to choose just one. For example, if you want to work with clients who have OCD, then in the beginning, if you're brand new to this, it's going to take a long time for you to fill your book, because you've limited that much, your target market. So maybe in the beginning you're going to start out specializing in anxiety disorders, with the hope that one day you're going to be able to have that one little piece of it, and it builds into that, and that's great. Or maybe you want to, maybe you want to work with kids and adolescents, or maybe you want to work with families and adolescents. But to choose that target market, and there are 3 important reasons to choose the target market. One is that when you choose a target market, you know where to find them. People who tend to hang out together. You know where to find them online. You know what publications they read. You know where they're hanging out, so that you know where to position yourself. So that's one reason. Another reason is that because they tend to hang out together, they already have a network of communication. They're already talking to each other. So you need to get them talking about you to each other, and to help spread your word, to leverage your efforts. And then the third is that when people know that they are your ideal client, that your target market is all about them, you get almost an automatic piece of credibility there, because they see that you've specialized in them, and it makes them feel really good about that. So for those 3 reasons, I think choosing a target market is really important. So that's the beginning. Then the next would be to find a way to figure out how you want to be seen in the world, and to put that brand out there, to be able to establish yourself in the world the way you want to be seen, because you get to choose as a private practitioner. It just doesn't happen to you. You can choose to let the world know what you're known for and, what you're known as.
Mm-hmm.
And so building that brand, I think, is really important. And then third, being able to talk comfortably about what you do, so that when people ask you the question, so what do you do for a living, you don't kind of look like a deer in the headlights and you say, I'm a therapist.
Right.
And it kind of ends the conversation right there.
Yeah, I did a blog piece about a video blog about, it was May was Mental Health Awareness Month,
mm-hmm.
and how we perpetuate stigma because we are so fearful about telling people what we do for a living, of like it's something that's going to make people uncomfortable. I hear this a lot, like with my girlfriends. I don't tell anybody what I do. If I'm out with my friends and they ask what I do, they have all these kind of vague ways of saying they work in mental health. But, I think to be really comfortable in your skin is important. It helps other people feel at ease and want to know more.
Yes. And I think especially when you put it, I teach people how to put it in terms of a who and what do what statement. So if you've already chosen your target market, and then if you can think about another big thing, which is what is the big result that people get when they work with you?
Right.
Clearly when people work with you, they probably get a whole lot of benefits and a whole lot of perks, but a big result, an overarching result that most people get when they work with you. And if you know your target market and you know your big result, you can come up with a one-line statement that's very simple. Like for me, I can say, I help mental health professionals build successful private practices. Okay? And then people can say, oh, really? How do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And as a therapist, I can say, I can help people with borderline personality disorder learn how to take a look at their impact on the world so that they can better manage how they interact with others.
Yeah.
And then people say, really? I mean, now I didn't even say I'm a therapist.
Right.
But I tell them how I'm helping other people, and then they can come back and say, geez, how do you do that? And it starts the conversation, which is what is all about relationships.
Right. And I think that those relationships are online and offline. And people forget that online is also a relationship now. Our culture has shifted.
Yeah.
I mean, how did I find you? Online. That's how it works. You start, I've met so many people online, and also people see me in groups and forums and how I respond to things, and they're really building a relationship with me from just seeing me and starting to feel out if they trust me, if they align with what I'm saying. I think it's part of it too, something we forget.
Yes, I agree with you, because people are only going to do business with us according to the level of trust they have in us.
Right.
And if we are online with them, especially exclusively online with them, we have to find ways to be able to appear credible and likable and to build those relationships so that the level of trust can increase. And if at the same time we offer them a variety of different ways to get to know us, doing business with us, right, then we give them an opportunity to try us on here or there.
Right. I think that's the whole thing. Relationship marketing is based on trust. Mm-hmm. And I think trust comes from exposing and being more vulnerable, just as a human being about and open to talk about what you do, how you help, like you're saying.
Yep. When you work with folks online, how do you think what do you think is the best way to establish that trust? Do you think about it when you're doing it, or does it just come naturally?
I don't know if I think about it sometimes. If someone posts as a coach, right? In the coach aspect, if someone posts something I don't agree with, I first type what I really want to say, and then I go back and maybe try and, because, that's the thing, too, about building a relationship online. Like you and I are talking right now, I can see your face, I can hear your tone. There's a lot more data for me to absorb and make meaning out of than if I just read words on the screen. People can interpret so many ways. So I do find that you know, in my blogging and things. I want to be still myself, but very clear. That's one thing I notice. How about you?
Well, I agree with that, and I have to be really careful when I write because I tend to be pretty direct and to the point.
So do I.
So, you know, so I'm writing these blog posts, and I'm thinking, well, you need to really get over that and move on to the next thing. And it's like, well, that wasn't very sensitive, and that's not really what I meant. And if you could see my face, you could see I really care about you. But because you can't see that, you're going to think I'm just really awful. So I write those blog posts, and I keep, holding my hand back so that I don't accidentally press publish.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about video and video blogging is you maybe have another level of opportunity to establish your personality and who you are in a different format. But like just thinking about relationship marketing when I contacted you, it was just out of sheer I'm unattached to a result, right? Like, how many referrals will you send me or something like that? I seriously want to know you and want to know if there's a way I can help you, because I feel like the more relationships I have and the more connected I am, the better off my clients are. It's a service for my clients as well.
Yes.
As I get more connected with people.
Yes. And that's why when you're, I try to, when I'm coaching, I try to teach clinicians that when you're talking to that referral source, the biggest question is, how can I help you help your people? It's not, here are my cards, I'm in private practice, can you please send me some referrals, and then go home and wait for the phone to ring, because that's not going to happen. But for me to go into a physician office or go in and talk to an attorney and to be able to say, I'm guessing that mental health issues are a big piece of your practice, even though that's not your area of expertise. And I would love to know more about your business so that I can help you figure out how I can best help you. And I know that the more that I do that, I don't just do that because I think I'm going to get something from it. I do get stuff from it, but I do that because that's what I want to do. I want to help people. And if this referrer can help me help more people because we have a shared target market, then everybody wins.
Yeah. Can you repeat that again one more time? How can I help? Yeah, say that one more time, because I think that's key, because I hear that in the forums. Everyone's saying, well, I have these brochures, so I just drop them off at the doctor's office, or, who do I talk to? But it's like, that's what you need to ask. So say that one more time.
I will ask people I would tell them I would love to know more about you and your business so that I can figure out with you how I can help you to help your people.
Yeah.
And I'll go so far, and then sometimes they sit back because they don't know what to do with that. They're so used to people throwing business cards and brochures at them. And so they'll sit back and they may say, geez, I don't know how you can help me. So I always have a couple of ideas in the back of my head. So maybe at a physician's office I'll say, well, I'm guessing that you see a lot of people with anxiety disorders. Is that correct? With a lot of panic and anxiety? And oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And I'll say, well, how about if I come up with some kind of like a flyer that gives some pointers about how to manage stress and anxiety that you could use as an education piece for your patients? Oh my goodness, I love that. Or how about if I do a one-page newsletter every other month that you can put into your waiting room that's going to answer some questions for some of your patients about mental health. Would that be helpful to you? Yeah, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
It
right.
helps
And
think
that's
about.
our aspect is collaborating instead of just telling them how you can help.
Yes.
Yes. It's a back and forth discussion.
It is.
And I think I felt silly, right, emailing all these other coaches, knowing that I want to feel connected. I need to build a community. It could be very isolating in my private practice and in my coaching practice. Yeah. So there's got to be some sort of I'm just going to put my shame aside and my fear aside and just be bold, right? Yes. So it does take courage.
Mm-hmm. It does. Because unless you're vulnerable, it doesn't work.
Say that one more time. That's a good one.
And unless you allow yourself to be vulnerable, none of this works.
Right. Right. I think there's a lot of myths about what vulnerability means as a clinician that need to be smashed.
Yeah. I think it's more about being real, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, people get all fearful about, that whole blank slate and how much do I share, but again, that real genuine place, and if you're ethical, I don't see the need for the fear.
Right. And I think that there are plenty of people who, because of their theoretical perspectives and things, they're gonna do this a different way than I might do this,
Yeah.
and that's okay. You can still, even if you're going to be that blank slate with your clients, you can't do that with your referrers, or you're never going to get any clients.
Hmm.
Right. So
Yeah.
you may be marketing more to the referrers than maybe writing blog posts and putting things out that you don't, that you might feel uncomfortable with or might not be in line with your beliefs about therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody can find a way to do it that fits for them.
I agree. It is about aligning with who you are as a person and your skill set and where you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So, do you think there's any cons to relationship marketing?
Well, I think one of the criticisms of relationship marketing for people who hear about it at first is that it takes time, and that it takes you have to feed and nurture these relationships.
Right.
And clinicians are, most of us think our job is to sit face to face with our clients. I don't have time to be having these relationships with all these other people, and I think if you go about it in a way that's efficient, where you can keep in touch efficiently, there's a website and a program called Contactually. I don't know
Yeah.
if you're aware of it. Do you know
Uh-huh.
Contactually? It's
Yeah.
a client relationship management system that I like. There are many out there, but it allows, I get an email every morning that says, today's the day to follow up with this person, and this person, and you can get it done in 10 or 15 minutes, 5 days a week. So yes, there is, it does take a little bit of time, but in trade, you get to work for yourself. And the reality is that working for somebody else takes a whole lot of time.
I love that. That's so true.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that would be probably the biggest criticism that I hear.
Yeah.
Oh, and also another concern that I hear is, but I'm really shy and I don't know how I'm going to reach out to people to make those relationships. And again, I think that you don't have to be the most bubbly person in town to do this. In fact, that might annoy people. You just need to be you. And if you're genuine and you're soft-spoken and you're unassuming, just because you're unassuming doesn't mean you can't stand out.
Right.
By showing your credibility and by being that person that they can count on. So again, there are ways to do this that are in line with who you are.
Yeah. We've been criticized for being too bubbly.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is fine because this is who I am. Like, I laugh a lot. And so if you don't like me, then let's figure that out now. So if you're a person that is more that calm, yeah, like you're saying, like unassuming kind of person, I think there's a market. People appreciate that, So we're not for everybody.
No, and we don't need to be, and we don't have to feel badly about that. We're meant to serve certain people. We're not meant to serve everybody.
Right. So do you have any additional tips for people that are watching this, wanting to know about how to do more relationship marketing as they're in their private practice?
I think that the big thing would be to find a system that works for you and to work it. Don't just try to do a little piece here and a little piece there. A lot of times when people come to me and they want to learn how to market their practice, they want to know immediately, how do I do the writing? How do I use the web? How do I do this, that, and the other thing? And I say, whoa, I'm going to teach you all those things, but first we have to set the foundation. First we have to show the world who you are. And so I would suggest that someone find a way, with a coach, to figure out a system of how to go about and do this so that it can be most efficient and it can be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I'm going to throw you a question. Why do you think people need coaching? Because I think in our field, and I think a lot of helping professions, there's this sense of I'm going to do it myself, and I don't want to invest. So you want to talk about the value of getting coaching?
Sure. Well, I can give you an example that happened just about 45 minutes ago in a coaching session that I just had. I had a person who was trying to figure out how to be more efficient with her time. She was working out of 3 different offices, and she was filling evening hours but not daytime hours. And we took about 20 or 25 minutes and just threw some ideas around and got it to the point where it really made sense to her to go down to one office and how to better manage her time, and she felt so much better about that. And what she said to me was, I don't know why I didn't think of that. And I said to her, you know, I think it's the same for all of us. I know I've experienced it. Sometimes you just need to have somebody that you can throw this at and who can take those pieces and kind of put them on the whiteboard for you so that you can really see it there and you can then process it. Because when we're trying to express it as we're processing it and as we're worrying about it, it gets all mixed up. So when you have that person that is just there for you, somebody who's really invested in you being successful, who isn't going to, who's going to take into account what's important to you, I think that helps to make it happen. So I think coaching really helps there. When you come back to ideal clients, I think about when people ask me who's my ideal client is a person who's willing to invest their time, energy, and money in their business. In order to make it bigger and better. And there are many people out there who don't want to invest their money, and that's okay, but that's not my ideal client. You know what I mean? I've got to work with somebody who's willing to invest in their business.
Yeah. And it's so fun, isn't it, when people do, because the transformation is that much more intense and quickened by that investment, and it's a richer experience. I think it's so in line with what we're talking about. Relationships matter, and a relationship with a coach is really important as well.
It's really important, and the thing that we talk about often as coaches, I think, and we try to help people understand, is the whole concept of ROI. It's the return on the investment.
Yeah.
So if you're going to spend X number of dollars and X number of time with a coach, think about that, the potential return on that investment. You know, I have a group coaching program that people come into and they pay monthly for, and I tell them, they say, how long do I have to stay in the program? And, and I tell them, I promise I won't shackle you to the wall. And I tell them, you stay as long as it's valuable to you.
Yes.
You know, as long as you're getting something out of it. And think about it, even if you got one client in that month, you're going to, you know, make 5 times what you put into it, at least.
Yes.
On that one client, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, no, that's what we say in our boot camp, is that you invest, and our hope is that you get at least one client. Yes, people have gotten more, but, you know, don't make guarantees. But just having one client would pay off the boot camp cost. And then as you repeat what you learn, your return on investment grows exponentially so.
Yes.
And I think that's the hard part for people, too, of like when they get a website or whatever. I'm always thinking, then, if you're going to upgrade your website, what's the return on investment going to be? If you're going to get a coach, what do you have a plan for the return on investment? That's really important. You know, and it's not always a financial return. It could be other valuable things that you're receiving. But either way, you want to know that it's worth it for your business.
Well, you bring up a really good point, because I think one of the big advantages of working with a coach is that it can help to increase your confidence. It can help to increase your self-efficacy. And those are invaluable, because those 2 things alone are going to bring more peace of mind, probably physical. It'll help you physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, forever. And that's just a residual of what you're going to get.
Right.
You know?
My mentors have changed me for life.
Yes, I feel the same way.
And I have people I still go to bounce ideas off of and strategize, and it's worth every penny, because it's just my business, and I could not do it. You can't build a business alone. You could, but why?
You know.
It's hard.
I agree.
So, we have our boot camp coming up in September, but what I was really excited about is that I asked you, because you are affiliated with us, if you would offer something to sweeten the deal for people that sign up for the boot camp through you, what you could do to help ongoing for those people. So the boot camp is basically that place where we give a foundation, but in terms of like tools and strategy, we cover a whole bunch of different things. It's a 2-week intensive, and it's a lifetime membership. But the ongoing coaching aspect is something that I love that you do in your mastermind. So why don't you share what you're offering to people that want to sign up?
Great. Well, let me tell you first that I'm really excited about your boot camp as well. Thanks. I think it sounds fabulous, and I'm so glad that it's been so successful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. But I think what I have in my mastermind, I think it really does kind of complement it. The idea of my mastermind group coaching was to kind of attack 3 areas. One is kind of an independent study thing where I offer the entire Book Yourself Solid system, marketing system, so that people can learn it and put it to work at their own pace. So that's like a self-study piece that comes with it. Then there's the group coaching piece where every week we get together and we have a group coaching call and we help build your business. You bring your questions, we help build your business. I might present on a topic. Whoever's on the call is participating, and whoever can't make it, we record them, and you always have them. So that's another piece. And then the other piece is a one-to-one piece, which is that every other month you earn 30 minutes one-to-one coaching time with me so that you and I can work specifically on your business. So I tried to cover all 3 bases. And it's a monthly thing. As I said, you come in and you pay by the month. As long as it's valuable to you, I want you there. And it's $197 a month. And what I'm going to do is for this offer is I'm going to give your folks a free trial for a month.
Awesome.
Yay. So they can come in and they can try it out and see how they like it. They'll have access to all the materials. They'll have access to the Book Yourself Solid materials. And they can get 30 days just where they can kind of immerse themselves in it and see how they like it. And my guess is that if they're really invested in their business and it works for them, that it's going to be something they'll want to continue on with me.
That's so generous. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's probably good for people after they finish the boot camp and need ongoing support. What do you think about that, the before, after the boot camp?
I think I agree with that because the boot camp is so intensive and I think it would be great for them to just really immerse themselves in that, and then to come out of that and jump into the group coaching, I think would be really helpful.
Awesome. I love that. So thank you. I'm excited. I'll have the links all listed below for people that want to go check out what you're offering, and if they want to sign up for the boot camp through you, that'd be great. But thank you for taking the time to share about relationship marketing. I love your heart and your personality, and I'm really grateful to you for taking some time out to share your knowledge with our peeps.
Thank you for this opportunity, and I always love to spend time with you, Kelly. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. We'll see you later.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.